Here we go, the unveiling. Don Prudhomme, Ron Capps. Hold it, Ron, it's on the headers.
All right! Woo!
Obviously, a lot of work goes into something like this. How long is the process to have what we see behind us on the racetrack?
One of the hardest things I've ever done. I had to make a few phone calls first. Phil Burgess was one of the first. I had to really find what besides means a lot to us about the Hot Wheels car and Snake and the U.S. Nationals, but really what was going on this year. 10 years since the movie was made, obviously, but the 50 years since he won the funny car. Ironically, he won with Roland Leong, one of my mentors, the year I was born in 1965. They won here and the Winter Nationals, I believe. So I already had that history. So I had to start with, first we were going to try and surprise Snake. And if you know Snake at all, probably not a great idea trying to surprise him on anything. But that was the process at first, and I had to make a call to Napa Auto Parts. That was the big thing. We run an auto care car here at this big event, the U.S. Nationals, and I was blown away by the new people that we have there, Catherine and Marty and all the group, that were so for it. They didn't even worry about not having signage on the car in the front. They wanted that Snake, just like the original car, and they were so into it. It was so amazing to get that phone call out of the way and realize they were all in. But then it went to Toyota, and I had to talk to them, and Paul Dolishaw and that group 100% in.
I was going to say, knowing Paul this much, I don't think this took a big sell job to get Paul on board with this idea.
No, and then I sat in the parking lot after the Norwalk race on a Monday in my rental car, and I called Snake thinking he was already awake back home. And on my little speakerphone sitting by myself and my cell phone, and I said, hey man, I was text you a picture and tell me what you think. And he's on his phone, and he's having coffee, he just woke up, he was sitting in bed actually, he said having coffee, and it came across, it was just quiet. And he's like, holy, you know what, and then he said, he just kept making comments about it. And I said, look, I want to try to get this to Hot Wheels and Mattel and see if we can't run this car at the U.S. Nationals, are you okay with it? And he said, am I okay with it? Man, this is an honor. And so then the process started with Mattel and Hot Wheels, which is by any means not the easiest thing to do nowadays with attorneys and what you have to do to put a big company like that together with a program like this. So all new people. It's not even the same people that he was with back in the day, and that's what really started. So it was 4 months of back and forth. Dave Merrick, he did the rendering. And once we had the rendering done, I was easy peasy because everybody that saw it was all in, so that helped a bunch.
To be honest, I've been asked to do it before,
Yeah.
you know, more on the nostalgia level. They want to do the Army car or the Hot Wheels car, and I just was never into it. But of course, when Capps brought it up, it was like a done deal. I remember the first time I got a look at it, he said, hey man, check this picture out, tell me what you think. And I about, you know, shit when I saw it. I mean, it was just blew me away, and I said, this is great, but what about Napa? And he says he's worked with Napa, so I was just shocked and grateful that Napa would let us do this program, because, you know, it's such an iconic paint scheme. It wasn't for Tom McHugh and the Mongoose in 1970. That's when we came up with these paint schemes, and I ran them for several years, and I still sign plenty of die casts today with that paint scheme on them.
So, what do you think about warming up one of these modern cars?
I didn't like it. Man, it pounds. I didn't realize, I mean, you know, they pound from the outside, but sitting behind that thing, I decided right then I don't want any part of this. I don't mind warming it up, but not driving it. He's got a lot of huevos to do that, I can tell you.
Ron, let me ask you a question. Is this something you would have felt comfortable doing had you not have won the U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, this has been a dream. You know, for years I've watched NASCAR and what they do with their throwback weekends, and it's great they're trying, but it's a small little change of their current, you know, their current paint schemes with their sponsors, and I don't think it was ever a proper throwback. And that's when Dave sent this drawing, it instantly took me back to being a kid. And I don't think had we had the realism of putting the old paint scheme on this GR Supra, because Snake right away was like, oh my God, like he just kept looking at it and noticing things that were back in the day, because that's what was the key. And he's made a couple comments that really touched me at times, where, like even the other day, he said, you know, it was really cool what we did, you know, 50 years ago. To win it 50 years ago was a unbelievable thing. It's traveled with me all my life, or whatever he said. But the chance to win it again, this many years, and shit shivers, because I'm like, he is going to be standing up there like he's going to be in the car, and he has a chance. And also he's made several comments. If you work for Snake, you understand if you don't have a good car, a good running car, he's either going to fix it or that's not even, there's nothing even question about it. So he loves the fact that we got a great race car with Guido and the guys and a chance to win. If we had a car that was a 9th place car, we're having issues right now.
We wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, we wouldn't have done it. Yeah. That's the truth, I swear to you. So it was the biggest compliment to hear him say the chance for me to do this many years later. It is pretty cool, and I've never got so many text messages every day, just him and I going back and forth talking about how excited we were with this whole thing. So the tribute part of it to me is just essential to be all in on it like we were. And Tony Stewart gave us keeping it a secret was, I can't believe we did this long. Yeah. Tony gave us a vacant building as soon as the guys got back from Brainerd. The bodies went over there. We got another card. We felt we had to put on display for the fans. We made some old school handout cards. He'll be over there starting today at 5 o'clock. And that car will be on display the whole weekend. It's the exact same car. It's our backup body. Okay. So with the hopes that somebody, yeah, we don't want to go there, but we understand we need one. But with hopes that SEMA show, possibly one of our sponsors may want that car, NHRA. So we hope that we don't have to use this car. It's a brand new GR that's over there at Toyota. So that all also kind of played into what we were doing. It was, yeah, it was all in or not.
So the thing I wanted to ask you is, you grew up with this car. This is your childhood, getting to play with this car as a kid, and now 50 years later, you are now going to drive this car. Just what does that mean to you, thinking back to that kid in California, looking at that Hot Wheels, and now getting to sit behind the wheel of it?
Yeah, what's great about this is it goes both ways. The excitement I heard Phil Burgess, who's been with National Drives for forever, and the history buff that he is, was as exciting as me being a little kid that grew up. You got to remember, I got a phone call from him to go drive for him as a kid that played with Hot Wheels and built his models. I mean, him is probably my biggest idol growing up. So to get a phone call to go drive for somebody that's that big an idol, it doesn't get any better. And so I'm not sure I could top that this weekend, but it's going to be strange to sit in there with this throwback suit that we made right out of what he wore in the movie, and the helmet. I'm hoping I can't see the car out from the inside, because I think it's going to make it more emotional for me, honestly. I hope everything inside is just like normal, and I don't have to think about it, but I'm excited for our sport. Our fans, it's unbelievable to have this. Rick Hendrick, I sent him pictures right the night before, who owns the ramp trucks that he redid. It's just gone into other places. I've got text messages from NASCAR, IndyCar owners, drivers, that people were touched as kids with this car that are pretty pumped about it, but our race fans, oh my God, they're over the top about it.
And as far as that goes, Snake, it's one thing to have a popular race car, which this obviously was, but this thing transcended drag racing, obviously. And when Ron talks about the people whose lives were, this thing was some part of their lives, right? And that's got to be something that still sticks with you to this day, in terms of the fact that it's not just a cool looking funny car. This was something that is a part of American pop culture.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's for sure. I mean, I get fan mail still with the Hot Wheels cars, you know, and this is the most favorite paint scheme of all the cars. Army car was pretty close. Can't throw that under the bus. Maybe we'll do that one next time. But no, the Army car was bad to the bone. But this car is set up with the marketing side of the sport and what other sponsors or drag racers can do by going out finding sponsors like Revell. And Jungle Jim came along with Revell sponsorship. Ed the Ace with Revell sponsorship.
Revolution.
Yeah. So it really started a whole wave of things, and I just wish the Mongoose was here to see it, because I'm sure he'd be loving it right now, but I think he'd be a little jealous, to be honest with you.
So last year, Larry came here with his own program, and he ran back to the Miller High Life car when he first started with you. What does it mean now to see Ron do it a year later, running a throwback to you, to see your drivers run homages to the time that they spent with you or what they looked up to you growing up?
Well, it's quite an honor, obviously, you know. I mean, it's amazing, you know, to think my career has lasted this long and that I've, you know, maybe moved someone else's life a little bit and helped them along the way. And I like to think I helped Capps a little bit, and Dixon, and Tommy Johnson, and, you know, guys like that drove for me. And they always... I always had a problem with other drivers because I like to hang out with Capps, and they'd always be pissed off, you know, with Capps. So why do you hang out with him? I said, well, he's more fun, you know.